And then he said, don't wish it was easier, wish you were better. Don't wish for less problems, wish for more skills.
I can't catch a break, guys.
Yeah.
Get them the fuck away from me. I can't be around those guys.
People think, oh, well, cleaning your room, that's just a cliche. It's like, yeah, really, eh? Just go ahead and try it.
If people had any idea how powerful sleep is for healing from anything, and the fact that it's free.
My mind is absolutely bulletproof, solid as a rock.
Podcast. All right, guys. So, welcome to Fighting Fit's podcast number 4. We're sitting here with Marco, the Italian Stallion.
Sicilian
Stallion. So Marco was my first official client. I was working with my sister and Jenny's sister, and then Marco, in I don't know what it was, like a leap of faith, kind of walked into the boxing club. Was that looking for a personal trainer, and then Jim pointed at me, and then that's kind of how I really got going. So today, Marco, you have lost over 120 pounds since you first started your weight loss journey. What got you into health and fitness? Why did you want to make a change?
At that stage, I had lived around 2 years since I moved to Ireland, in which I wasn't satisfied job-wise. So I got a bit depressed as well. So I was staying home all the time, just work, home, eating all the time, playing video games, watching TV. Basically a very lazy life. Then something very, very personal happened, and I decided, okay, I need to do something because this is not the way I used to be in the past.
Yeah.
I used to play professional football until I was 17 years old. And then I got injured, I had to quit. I started gaining weight since then. A little bit, I started moving, since I moved first to Milan and then to Ireland, I've lived by myself.
Because you went to Milan to study first, wasn't it?
I attended a master degree in Milan, yes. And then thanks to the master, I moved to Ireland. I had a chance to move to Ireland, but I was expecting to get a different job. That's why then I wasn't satisfied. Thank God
What job did you want?
I was waiting for a call from the tourist board in Dublin. A call that never came. So
That's what your degree is in. What is your master's degree?
my background is in foreign languages, and then the master degree is in tourist management.
Cool.
So I hope to get something about that field, but didn't happen. Then I moved to Dundalk. I got a job for a merchandise company, National Pen. But then the PayPal office is open around 5 years ago, so I decided to apply. In the meantime, I managed to get the job. That very personal thing happened, and it's okay. Now I'm more in peace with myself, job-wise. So, and I need to take care about myself, my person. So I decided to start a diet, followed by a medical center. And after having lost my first 20 kilos, I say now it's time to do more.
Add some exercise into the mix.
Physical activity.
So you lost over, what was that? So 20 kilos would be over 40 pounds, nearly 45 pounds, just through diet.
Through the diet.
Just through diet.
Cool. Nutrition. Well, I started mid-March, so then when we first met was in September. So
was that September 2015? We first met?
4 years ago.
Yeah.
2014.
Was it 14? Cool.
4 years ago. So in around 5 months, 20 kilos. And
then what was it brought you into the boxing club? Because I know yourself.
I decided to go for the boxing because my brother used to box in Italy, and in 8 months period, since I saw him for the last time in January, years ago, then I met him again in August, summertime. Okay, he didn't need to lose as much as me, but just around, let's say, 10 kilos. But the way I met him after 8 months, he was completely shredded.
Yeah, ripped.
And because I know myself, especially at that time, it's okay, if I could go to the gym in PayPal, but if I do it by myself, I would last only 1 week, no more. I need somebody who pushes me, who kicks me in the ass. So, remembering what happened to my brother, and you kept boxing at that time, it's okay, I would like to look for something like this. I knew there was the Club NIFA here in Muriaknamor, so I went there. By chance, I met you.
Yeah, it was pretty cool. It was all kind of stroke of luck, really. That we.
I remember I was with Simone.
Yes.
A former colleague of mine. He was interested in boxing as well. So when we met you, now okay, you are 27. At that time you were
22 maybe.
22, 23.
Yeah.
My age.
So you introduced yourself as personal trainer. So I was looking at my friend. Should we trust this guy or not?
No.
So no, he said, okay, let's give him a try. The rest is
history. That's it. And then so when we started, how often were we training? We were training, 3 evenings a week?
4 times.
4 times a week.
Was Mondays, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays at the club.
And we trained for about an hour. We done a little bit of everything, didn't it?
Yeah.
We had you doing a lot of yourself and Simona, because it was cool because there was 2 years, so we could kind of bounce off each other.
Exactly.
And Simona had done he'd done a lot of Thai boxing and stuff in the past too. Yeah, so it was really cool. So Niall, do you have any questions for Marco?
Let me see. We blazed through a few of them there before without even asking them.
So there was the first one there is, were you into fitness as a child? So obviously you were big into football when you were growing up.
Yeah, as I said, I used to eat a lot, but I was training every day, running all the time, so my metabolism was fine.
Yeah.
But when I had to quit, I kept eating as usual without training.
With the
anymore.
exercise.
So
And what was the energy? Why did you have to quit football?
I twisted my knee very bad.
Okay.
Thank God nothing happened to the ligaments in terms of surgery.
Yeah.
I didn't need to go for a surgery, but I couldn't keep going because, as long as you play in the youth team, and if you get injured at that stage, they don't really care about you.
Yeah. And who was that? What team was that? Was Palermo?
My hometown, yeah, Palermo.
Club Palermo.
Fiercely competitive.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Cool.
Let me see. We got that. What's lifestyle like in Sicily compared to here in Ireland?
Well, I found many similarities with the habits we have in Italy. We are very friendly, approachable people, both Irish and Sicilian people.
Because there's a difference between Italian and Sicilian.
Let's say in the north, if I had to compare, I would compare people from North Italy as English people, together with English people. Especially at the beginning, they are colder.
Okay.
They look at you like, who do you think you are?
Yeah, okay.
I'm better than you. While you Irish people and us from South Italy, straight away we are approachable, we are friendly, we want to hang out.
Okay.
We are very easy going.
Us little countries got to stick together.
Yeah.
I say most countries taken over by the other grumpy countries.
Yeah.
Yeah, we like to hang out, being in company, going for drinks, movies, activities, whatever.
That's cool. So you just find kind of Ireland and Sicily are similar because we're kind of just quite social and just kind of open.
From this point of view, apart from the job, I was fine because all the Irish people I met at that time, they were all nice. They are all nice. That's good.
Cool. And then so like say anybody listening that hasn't maybe started the kind of the weight loss journey today, kind of what advice would you give to them? Kind of say, we were talking to Andrew Maddy last week and he lost a similar amount, he's lost over 100 pounds too. His next goal is now to beat your 120 pound record.
And I hope he will.
Yeah. So the thing is, so we were talking to Andy about like, what would you say, both to maybe somebody who hasn't started a journey yet, or even what would you say to yourself, maybe, from 5 years ago?
What I always recommend to people, because of course people knowing me, when they notice my journey, they are aware of my journey, that's incredible, I should do something for myself, I need to do something as well. What I keep telling people is, okay, my journey has been a long one, to me it will never finish, because let's be fair, I have a now kind of psychological issue, because I will always see myself as a big person, no matter what. So what I tell people is, if you decide to get into it, just have to be aware that it's going to be a very long journey. So don't pretend that if you will see the very first results, that okay, it's going to work, and then you will allow yourself to slow down, to go easy. Yeah. So keep going until you won't reach your final goal.
That reminds me of a quote from one of actually the biggest YouTubers, Christian Guzman. It's proud but never satisfied. So
always striving to kind of go a little bit better, because actually you find out when people kind of achieve kind of maybe their short-term goal, they celebrate too early almost.
And in fairness, I know people that you know as well, but I won't make names, that they started doing great things, but then
To slow down.
They slow down.
Yeah,
They kind
get
of quit
comfortable.
because, okay, as long as I go to the gym, I work out, then if I want to treat myself, okay, you have to treat yourself, that's fine. But just, let's say, once per week, as long as you won't reach your final goal.
For me, what it's about, you know, incorporating into your lifestyle, and that's really what health and fitness has to be. Especially in terms of exercise and nutrition, it's kind of like if you've kind of got this all in or all out approach. I mean, it's good for chasing down a specific goal, but it's like when you hit that goal, it's like, what do you do then? It's like, for me, it's like, well, now you're in the maintenance phase, you know. So, and like I said, the maintenance phase can be, you know, gaining a pound, gaining 5 pounds, you know, whatever your zone of comfort is, you know. That's the way. It's like, how much do you want a social life versus how much do you want to stay in shape? And like I said, to find that healthy balance is fine, because one of the things that we learned in the nutrition course is just like, food is more than calories in, calories out. You know, food's social, food's culture, food's like, you know, at a wedding, you want to celebrate, you know, food's birthday cake, and nobody wants to be that guy that's always standing in the corner and going, oh no, can't have that, can't have that, can't have that. But at the same time, it's like, it's about finding that balance, because sometimes that needs to be you. You know, so, which is fine. It's like, if you've got a goal you're chasing down, you're doing a 12-week program, and you've already, you know, you've been at umpteen parties, it's maybe not a particularly special one, maybe this is the time you go, you know what, no, not today. You know, so that's fine. But if you swing too hard the other side and you go, you know what, never. Well, then it's like, that's not healthy either. It's about finding that way that you incorporate it into your lifestyle. I love that saying. It's 2 podcasts in a row. Have your cake and eat it too. You know, so it's like, have it in your lifestyle and work towards, and keep your nutrition right when it matters, and then when it doesn't, don't be afraid to take the foot off the pedal a little bit. You know, so but you should be keeping exercising, you should be keeping, you know, the 80-20 rule. You should have 80% of your diet right most of the time, and then, you know, 1 day a week, as I said, just blow out.
It all comes down to like your ability to say no. You know, you can't say yes to everything. Every once in a while, you have to say no. I can't go out every weekend because, you know, my priorities, it just doesn't line up with my priorities, my values at the minute. You know, but then doesn't mean that you always have to say no. You know, you could, you know, 2 or 3 months down the line, once you kind of get a little bit closer, you know, then you can go out. Because there's things like weddings and Christmas and all this kind of stuff that there is always going to be something. You know, there's always going to be something on. So if you can't say no, you know, you're never going to say no. You know, it all comes down to what are your standards. You get what I'm saying? As you said earlier on, like what's that? How much wiggle room are you going to give yourself? You can see some people's standard is, oh no, I put on a pound, and then they'll stop the bus until they get that pound off. They won't eat one bad thing, and they'll go to the gym every day until they get that pound off. For other people, they let it slide maybe as much as 10 pounds, or even some people let themselves go 20 pounds, and then they're like, oh sugar, I think I went too far. Now it's a priority.
Oh, sugar is right.
Yeah, you know, you get what I'm saying. So it's about like defining how much will you let yourself away with before you kind of really, you put your foot down, you say no, enough is enough. Or for you, Marco, you know, when you had that personal moment, you know, everybody has that, we call it an aha moment, you know, or that moment you decided enough is enough, I'm going to make a change. And unfortunately, people only change for 2 reasons: inspiration or desperation. It's one of the two. They're either inspired by somebody, hopefully by something like this, by something like learning about Marco's journey or learning about Andrew Manny's journey. But at the other hand and it happens much more often, you know, it's that meeting with the doctor when he tells you, you know, sort your shit out, or, you know, you're going to have type 2 diabetes, you know, sort your shit out, or, you know, you're looking at a heart attack within the next couple of years, you know, or even other people, ma'am, you get what I'm saying, you know, sort your shit out, you know, or you could potentially lose your leg. You get what I'm saying? But it's like, but it works. You get what I'm saying? That's real motivation, you know, and it gets people moving. But the key that my advice to people is, don't wait until you get desperate. Try and get inspired first to make the change. You know.
Yeah, that's what happened to me with. Okay, thank God I didn't have any healthy issues, but on the one hand, my brother also inspired me, gave me the motivation to get to what happened.
Yeah.
And I agree to what you, Brandon, said, and you again as well, because if people trying to get into the healthy lifestyle and they're not able to change theirs, it means that during their journey, no matter how long it is, to me they're simply suffering. Okay, I'm doing it just because I have to do it, I need to lose weight, but I'm not kind of enjoying it. And I'm not getting that this is useful for me to change my habits.
Yeah.
That's why they quit at some stage.
And then what you get is the opposite part of it, which really, really, really frustrates me, because it's so backwards. It's like, I get people they murder themselves on a strict diet, and they murder themselves with a gym routine, and they've no social life, and they've no mental break from a few carbohydrates or a little bit of sugar, alcohol, whatever it is. And then what happens is they eventually break because it's that swinging that horizontal.
It's on the wagon or off the wagon.
And then what happens is you say to them, it's like I get them upstairs and I go, all right, okay, so what happened to you this week? And then they go, oh sure, we were away the weekend, and oh sure, we ate this and we drank this. And I go, oh well, did you enjoy yourself? And they go, oh no, I didn't even enjoy it. And it's like, that's worse.
Yeah.
It's like, because you had the chance to take a break and you're so hard on yourself, or you're so on that even when you do lapse, it's like it's not a recharge time. Yeah. So then when you come back off that, you're not even recharged. You're not even more ready than when you were. So as if you had gone, well look, I know I've been pushing too hard, I'm going to take this as a little bit of a break, and then when I come back, at least I can jump back on the program.
Yeah, because there's a great one from Jim Rohn. It's one of my favorites. It's like when you're at work. When you're at play. But you get people, when they're playing, they feel guilty about not working, and when they're working, all they want to be doing is playing. You get what I'm saying? So it's like when you're at work, when you're at play. He uses a story where, he's at the beach, and he found himself, he's bringing his briefcase to the beach. You get what I'm saying? So it was ruining his time with his family at the beach. But then when he was at the office, he was wishing he was at the beach, and it just kind of creates this, this whole cycle. But just back onto the point about, creating the plan. That's why working with a coach, I find, can work very well, is because when you work with a coach, what we want to do is we want to help you design what I call your perfect week. So it's not, when you're trying to design a diet or an exercise program, you have to be honest with yourself, and you have to know what your limitations are. So you design your perfect week from what Jordan Peterson says. It's like, treat yourself like somebody you care about. You know what I mean? It's not like you're not sitting there, it's not like, cutting out every single carbohydrate or being really, really restrictive with the calories. Like, if I had to stick to this diet, but nobody takes the time. Take the time out with a page, plan your breakfast, plan your lunches, plan your dinners, go as far as counting the calories.
Sharpen your soul.
Sharpen your soul, build up your skill set. But then once you have this perfect week, it's like, I have to do this for the rest of my life. So it's like, what would that look like? It's like, if you don't like HIIT training, don't do HIIT training. If you don't like weight training, don't do weight training. If you prefer to just go out for a walk, because that's what's sustainable for you, do that. Obviously our goal here at this gym is we're all about efficiency and kind of the optimum workout, because we're all the benefits of a personal trainer, a fraction of the cost, delivering twice the results in half the time, because the workouts are only 30 minutes. So we're trying to utilize,
the minimum effective dose.
The minimum effective dose, exactly. So we're trying to get people, because our clients are busy, so it's always like, how can we get the most out of a 30-minute workout? Whereas, of course, if you've got 5 or 6 hours a week, you to train 5, and you could be really restrictive with it, with a diet plan or whatever the case may be. Of course, you can, through exercise and diet, create this huge deficit, and you can really, really accelerate your results. But it's like, first of all, what's sustainable? Because that's what's realistic. So even Marco, so on that side, kind of training wise, what are your favorite kind of training methods, or what do you find maybe you got the best results from?
No, with you guys, I enjoy every single training. To me, what I really need, I feel I need it, is just everything which is about cardio, which is basically what you guys doing here. So the HIIT circuits, boxing. I don't have anything.
You have no favorites?
Yeah.
He likes it all.
Likes it all. Yeah, but
except from Roxanne. And
if anyone doesn't know, there's a great kind of exercise routine where basically you just stick on the song Roxanne. You do jumping jacks, and every time you hear the word Roxanne, you have to do a burpee. So it's a good warm-up or a good finisher. Our clients love it.
How are you feeling about your upcoming underdog fight?
I'm excited this year. Last year was my first experience at all, of course. But I was also very, very concerned about my thumb because I was coming after a surgery.
Yeah, because what was it? Was it a broken thumb? Was fractured?
The ligament.
Ligament, yeah. You torn your ligaments, and you still saying you didn't pull out, and you still, you're injured for most of the training camp. You're training with one hand.
I was training with the cast on.
Yeah, so it says a lot about your kind of your resilience, So
yeah, but even 2 days before the event, when we've done the last sparring, I got hit on the hand. And it was very, very sore. That was scaring me.
Yeah.
Now I'm fine.
Yeah,
ready to go.
Yes.
Yeah. Can't wait.
That's why even last year I recall that I wasn't pushing myself during the fight.
Yeah, that's it. That was one thing that from one of my kind of constructive criticisms would have been you didn't engage as much as you could have. You could see that maybe you're a little bit apprehensive about engaging because you were trying to maybe protect your hand a little bit.
there's a great kind of idea about making the right sacrifice and kind of like doing a little bit of work in despite of the overall importance of it. It's like, don't burn the house down to make sliced toast. It's like, and that's what you were doing. Is like, is it really worth me risking this thumb that could be an injury for life for a white collar event? It's like, no.
But I'm a very competitive person, so I didn't want to step back.
Nobody does, but even still, that just speaks volumes. It's like, that's why it's like, even if, which you did, you put on a great fight and you did fight well, but it's like, even though you're fiercely competitive, you just knew that it wasn't worth it.
Kieran was a tough fight as it is.
Kieran has a lot of experience. So how you find the white collar training so far this year?
The same as last year. Very great, very well organized. So especially for many of people, most of them, they are their first experience. So you're teaching since the very basics.
Yes, you have to start the very, 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 very bottom even with this kind of stuff. What does it say at training? If you can't do it slow, you can't do it fast. So you really got to break it down. I know it can be starting off, it can be a little bit slow, but it's all about the kickoff now next week. Now once we start to sparring, so we only have a couple of days left. That's when it gets really interesting. So how many weeks then? So this is week 4.
6 weeks after this.
So this is week 4. So it's a 10. Basically, what we're doing for the white collar is so it's a 10-week training camp, and we train four times a week. So and then the fighters can kind of interchange between the boxing specific workouts in Clan Aoife, and then obviously the kind of the strength and conditioning style workouts here in Fighting Fit.
And some of the guys will do both.
So a lot of guys will do both. A lot of guys will come doing the doubles. Marco does doubles.
Tara.
Tara does doubles.
Niall does doubles.
Yeah, so what about
when he's on sleep?
What do you mean? I don't know what to tell you.
Niall's got excellent sleep hygiene.
My average this week's 8 hours 44 minutes a night.
Good on yourself.
Clean it up like you.
So we think so. So Niall on the last podcast called out Mick Mull. All right, said we asked him who does he want to fight. Would you have any? Who do you have your eye on? Anyone kind of maybe similar weight category you think would be a good?
I was trying to figure out who might be my opponent. But now I don't remember the names. There's the guy who I don't see him here lately. He's
Piero.
No, he's
Odrin.
Odrin, cool.
I don't know if he's going for.
I don't think Odrin's going to do this. Odrin is.
But I was thinking maybe he would be the only one.
He's been it for years though.
Yeah, well, see, Odrin's entering the Leinster Championships this year.
All right.
So he might not be able to do it.
Well, even in saying that, is like. He'd probably be fit for a white collar now, but it's like if he gets 4 fights over him, that's 4 fights experience, and he wouldn't be a white collar anymore, realistically.
Yeah, so he's very, very good. I'm not actually looking forward to seeing him fight in the net.
Good.
Jacob.
We got Jacopo, we got who else? Gian Piero. Who else would be there?
Speaking of sides,
who else
might be Jacopo.
We got Shane Rogers, Jamie Mackin. There's a couple of potential, but again, it all comes down to yourself. It all comes down to the sparring. Everyone can do the training, but then once everyone has a plan until they get punched in the face. So
whoever it's gonna be,
doesn't matter.
I'm gonna put him down.
Easy peasy.
I like it.
Good stuff. So any other questions?
Just joking, not really.
Just joking. Do it.
Any other questions in there now?
Let me see. Got the white collar question done. What is your goals for the coming months and years?
So where do you want to be? How far do you feel you are from your final form? I know you obviously said
something I already talked about with both you and Brandon, mostly with Brandon, that my very final goal would be that I'll try to reach at least 12% body fat.
Okay.
It's tough. I know that because of what I've been through, I also had a surgery to remove the excess skin. This keeps impacting me, my body fat mass. Even my doctor told me I have some parts left in the hips and in the chest that is just dead skin.
Okay.
That every time you measure your body fat, this will count.
Yeah.
But the only way to remove it would be going through
surgery again.
Liposuction.
Okay, cool.
But even the doctor told me you don't need it. It's not that big. So
you
can do with that.
Of course.
Actually, I get it. There's no point.
I heard about a great kind of technique from again I haven't put it into practice yet, but from Dr. Jason Fung.
Yes, and talking about fasting and kind of
the obesity code basically says that when you fast, it's like if you take a look at the the victims of the Holocaust. Now, around the time, I think this could be right or wrong, but this is all hearsay. That there was some overweight Jews at the time. So if you were to take someone who's overweight and lose all the weight on a low-calorie diet, so to say,
particularly in such a short time frame.
In a short time frame, exactly. Well, then what happens is like, so when you rapidly, drill the fat out of someone, so to say, that you're left with excess skin. But it's like if you take a look at the pictures from the Holocaust, it's like everyone was skin and bone, and there was nobody there standing really, really skinny, but with loads of loose skin. And the theory being that every calorie is necessary, and collagen essentially has calories in it. So what your body would do in a state of starvation is eat the skin. So it's like also, so there's things that obviously when you're doing a fast, there's things to make sure. The difference between starvation and fasting would be that you make sure you have your electrolytes and your minerals, and that it's controlled.
And for me, just on that, because again, you get a lot of kind of confusion around fasting. I think the biggest difference between fasting and starvation is fasting, there's a choice to fast. You're choosing to fast. Starvation is there's no choice because there's no food. Fasting, you do it because you want to do it. Starvation, it's like you've no other choice. You just have to starve yourself.
But then, like I said, what's the other choices that you're making? So bone broth was a good aspect to take, and so basically all your minerals and all this kind of stuff, maybe some BCAAs and all this branched chain amino acids in that, and your electrolytes and all this kind of stuff to keep your body working properly without getting lightheaded or disorientated, and keep yourself hydrated and all this kind of stuff. But the theory being that is essentially your body would eat its own dead excess skin.
Hopefully.
Yeah, that's pretty interesting.
But then I did also hear that it could be a case whereby they said that you might have to do it. It might have to accompany the fat. You have to lose the fat along with the skin.
It's interesting. And did you kind of, when you started your journey, did you think that would be an issue, the kind of the excess skin? Were you aware that would be a problem, something you were expecting?
Because when I quit playing football, in around 4 years' time, my weight was 140 kilos.
What was your max weight ever?
155.
155.
And then when I was 23, I went for my first diet. So let's say all my adipose tissues already stretched once. And then when I went for my first diet and I lost around 30 kilos, the skin came back. Yeah. But then, again, for years, I stretched it too much for too long.
Yeah.
So I was aware of that already.
Okay, cool.
That's why I considered since the beginning, if this will work, if I will be consistent, I know already I have to go for the surgery.
And you definitely want to do surgery, because I feel like that could be something that would hold a lot of people back. A lot of people that are kind of extremely overweight, it's kind of like, even if I go through all this effort of losing the weight, I'm still going to have all this excess skin.
Yeah, no, thank God. The only excess skin, the biggest area was the belly, or the up part, some on the chest. And to be honest, many people, my parents, many friends of mine, they told me, "Come on, you're fine like this. Why you need to go?"
Of course,
because of course, still a surgery.
Yes, of course.
So, but I was sure of that. Even the doctor was really surprised, because the post-surgery is supposed to be pretty sore, painful.
Yeah,
He was prescribing me painkillers, but I never needed to use once, because since the moment I woke up after the surgery, I started talking. So we're done already. He was surprised, and he said, okay, the reason why, even after a couple of weeks, I started asking my doctor, I'm fine, can I go for a walk? After 1 month, can I go for a wee run? So take it easy, because you have to go back to Ireland. You don't have to be 100%, you have to be 150%.
What did the doctor say was the total recovery time from surgery?
3 months.
3 months until any exercise?
Yeah, but I played my first football game after 1 month.
After 1 month. Okay,
after
cool.
3 weeks, I removed the stitches.
Okay, cool.
I had the stitches removed, and then I asked him, and he told me, I can see, everybody can see you are fine, and you are fine.
Yeah.
But just because this is something you wanted. So that's why you never had any issues at all.
Yeah.
But just because this needs time to fully recover, don't push. Actually, I went to play without telling him. The day after, I had a visit, a check, and I told him. That's why he told me, I can see you are fine, and you are. But just be patient.
Yeah.
But because, as I say, until the rest of my life, I will have this psychological issue. I cannot stay without doing something.
Yeah. Because you do, you see, even though you train a lot, you've definitely made huge strides towards it. It really is a lifestyle for you now. For myself, sometimes I tell you, maybe do a little bit less.
Slow down.
Yeah, slow down a little bit, because you don't want to get your body used to doing too much. Because then, if you do get injured and you are left sitting on your ass for a couple of weeks, then because the body's used to doing so much exercise, this is where your body maybe then might accumulate some excess body fat. But you've definitely made huge improvements to make it a part of your lifestyle. Do you have any kind of advice for anybody else on how they can make exercise and eating well a part of their everyday life?
I realized that eating is the most important thing. So you have to balance an healthy diet. Moving, doing some exercise, being active is also very important. And what I would recommend is just don't be strict in terms of I need to go to the boot camp gym, I need to go to the swimming pool. Just do whatever you like. What makes you feel, what makes you enjoy the workout. Do something you like.
Cool. And would you recommend, because obviously even from myself, because obviously that I was quite overweight for a while as well, and one of the key things that I've done, that I think that you've done as well, is reaching out and getting a coach, having a coach. I know that if I didn't go back to the boxing club and I didn't get back involved with my coaches and I didn't make commitments to them that I would box again on X date at a certain weight, and having that accountability from a coach really helped me. And that's kind of what we try and do here at Fine Fit. We try and keep everybody accountable. And even the fact that when you lost your first 40 pounds, you're working with somebody in a diet clinic. So do you feel like that is a good approach for people to kind of really get the ball rolling, to build momentum?
There's something people need to understand. They have to do it constantly, especially with you guys, because you are very, very approachable. You're always available. Even now, after 4 years, I know how to manage myself now, how to program my diet. Even if I wanted, I could just quit the gym and go working out somewhere else. But still today, I ask you for tips, for advices. Yes. This happened last day. What should I do now? Even if there are silly questions, to me there are no silly questions about this, and you're always there for me.
I think everybody just kind of likes that little bit of affirmation, because I'm qualified in training and nutrition, and I still go to Steve and I say, what do you think about this though? And he's like, no, that's X, Y, or Z, and it's like, I know, what about kind of from this angle? And that's what it is. It's like, because you're like, I think everybody secretly is still looking for the magic pill, and it's kind of like, but what one thing could I change? It's like, I know that I'm doing 90% of it right. It's like, but I would maybe just like to, maybe I'm sick of that approach. I'd like to try a different approach. And how do you think? What do you think with that? It's like, that's another great thing. It's like, people love keto. People love intermittent fast, and they like the calorie approach. They like working way harder than they're eating, and that's where they create their deficit, or just not exercising all and creating a deficit, whatever it is. Like, there's no right or wrong approach. Like I said, the right diet's the one that you enjoy doing, the one that works, and it's fine to move from one to the other, and it's great to kind of have a coach to guide you along that journey.
Yeah, actually, I love experimenting with different diets. I always, as soon as something new comes out, because I know somebody's going to ask you about it, I'll try it. Yeah. I'll do it. I've tried everything, and then obviously there's things that have worked very, very well for me. So obviously I'll share them with the clients, like things that I personally like. Doesn't mean it's for everybody. Things I personally like. I enjoy a low carbohydrate diet, because I feel much better when I lower my carbohydrates, increase my good quality fats, increase my proteins. I really enjoy intermittent fasting, because I just could not be arsed, making breakfast in the morning, and then it means in the evenings, at lunchtime and dinner, I can have 2 big meals. I'm still aware of my, my calories, give or take. I'm not, too worried about being 100% accurate, because I don't believe calories are in any way an exact science. But I feel like they give you a good kind of, they'll give you a good range that just in terms of energy balance, kind of where you should be. But the key with people is, do what you like, and not even that, but it's like, do what you believe in, do what you believe works. Because if I'm telling you to follow a diet plan and you don't enjoy it, but most important, if you don't believe in it, if you don't believe that this strategy is going to get you to your end result, you're not going to give 110%. Whereas if you're fully bought in, if you're 110% bought in, because maybe you've seen your friend do it, or you've watched a program, or maybe you just got hooked by the marketing, or whatever it was. If you 110% believe in it, you're much more likely to apply yourself and then get. And again, it's not necessarily the diet, because I believe that 90% of diets work. It's how hard are you kind of working to in terms of the principles of that particular diet,
Yeah.
Do anyone else have any say like dietary preferences, things that they find maybe work well for them?
I don't know. Like for me, just on that, is like Marco was kind of like an inspiration for me on one of the first things when you posted it up. I thought of Marco. I was thinking, it's like, don't expect change when you haven't made any.
Yeah.
You know, so it's like whatever your diet is right now. It's like focus on the thing that's screaming at you every time you reach for it. It's like realistically, that's probably what you should cut out. It's like, as I said, the magic pill is like, don't look for the apple cider vinegar. It's like someone asked me there the other day. It's like, if I go to the butcher's, it's like, and the sauces and the meat and all that kind of stuff, are they bad? I'm just like, if the sauces are what's getting you, come back to me.
Yeah.
You know, so we'll have a chat then.
It's
like,
sort of everything else first.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, I'm not worried too much with sauces. If the sauces are the thing that's, putting the pound or 2 or 3 up a week or every 2 weeks, it's like, okay, now we really need to have a chat. But it's like, realistically, how many bags of crisps did you have this week?
Yeah.
So it's like, how many pints did you have this week? I had a lady coming into me, and her macros were perfect and her calories were perfect. And for two weeks in a row, I was just like, what's going on here? And it's like, okay, because obviously, the scales aren't 100% accurate. I was like, look, don't worry too much about it this week. And then the next week the same, and then the next week it was the same. And I was like, what is happening here? And I goes, are you drinking at all on the weekend? And she goes, oh yeah, no, I would have 2 or 3, couple nights in the weekend. It's like
2 or 3. Like there is only 2 or 3 nights of the weekend.
No, 2 or 3 every night of the weekend, and it's like, oh my god, it's like, oh, well, that's what it is. That's what it's like, and people kind of let them kind of like almost, because it's like, if it's so ingrained and so party, and you're not really willing to let it go. You don't even associate it as a thing anymore. And it's like, there's a couple of things that you need to fix right now, and if you fix them, it's like the 80-20 rule again. Them 20% of things will give you the maximum results. So I would just say, it's like, whether it's carbohydrates, if it's chips, sort it out. If you're eating, like I said, there's no such thing as a bad, macronutrient. So if carbohydrates are your thing, fair enough. If you're eating too many KPs, nuts, it's a ridiculous amount of calories. Get them out. And so if you're drinking too much wine or too much vodka or too much gin, too much whiskey, whatever it is, like, get it out. And this is the thing. It's not that you can't have it. You just need to find your balance. You know what I mean? Between, like, pick your hell. Pick your hell. So it's either you go without your little cozy comfort, or you live in a body that you're not completely happy with, or vice versa, or on an alternative, you have a health complication or something along the lines that's coming down the line and you're not addressing it.
Yeah, because the thing is all about, for me, it's all about sacrifice. It's like, if you don't make a sacrifice, the thing that you really want becomes a sacrifice. And you're missing out. You have to realize that every time you stray away or you do something that you inherently know, you got that gut feeling, you inherently know, I shouldn't be doing this, because it all comes down to common sense. 90% of it's common sense, and then the extra 10% is where you get the minimal improvements. And all these studies and all these kind of special diets, these are all for for bodybuilders, for elite athletes, all these people who are really pushing the boundaries of what's capable. You know what I mean? It's like, then if everyone else is sorted, then maybe look at apple cider vinegar, because it's going to it reduces the amount of carbohydrates you absorb by 30% is what I've seen in one study, or all these other different things. But it's like, get the 90% first. And one of the key ones is alcohol. We see that a huge amount in terms of clients. And I had a similar meeting with a girl in the last couple of months, and obviously G&Ts are the new big thing. Everyone loves gin, but basically what she was in, similar story. The last 2 or 3 weeks, the scales weren't really moving kind of the way we thought. We looked at her MyFitnessPal, and she was hitting her calories, thereabouts, maybe give or take 10%. And then we're asking, then it was the question, oh, do you drink? And she's like, yeah, I go out every Saturday night with the gals. And she was like, oh, well, what it is, I work hard all week, I train 4 or 5 times a week, I enjoy doing it. And I was like, all right, cool. So, but let's just have a look at it and see what it was in terms of kind of calories. You put it in, it was like, so how many drinks would you have? I know, it turned out she was having, maybe 10 plus drinks, 10 gins. We plugged it into MyFitnessPal, and it was about 2,500 calories. You get what I'm saying? So it was like, what that done was that Saturday pulled her whole average for the week up. So it meant that deficit that I had prescribed, that maybe she's supposed to be maybe 10-15% calorie deficit, it turned out she was just undoing all that on the weekend, and then that just meant that there was no weight loss, there was no movement happening because of that one night.
Yeah.
And that's why we always say to people, it should be a cheat meal, not a cheat day. And if possible, if you're going away, you're going to end the drink, there's something coming up, if you go to a wedding, work out that day. Try and minimize the damage. Make sure that the day you're busy, that you're moving as much as possible. Yeah.
No, now you guys reminded me of something which happened at the beginning of this year. So I have a friend of mine who has faced some health issues around 1 year and a half ago. He had to quit smoking as well, and because of that, this person has never done any sport activity. Has always been able to take care of himself just through the diet, but then because of these issues, gained weight. We're talking about 10-15 kilos, no, not that much.
Kilos or pounds?
Kilos.
Kilos, okay.
And so then we started playing volleyball and also football. He loves playing volleyball. So after,
because I'd say I just on that, it's like if you don't enjoy the gym, look at starting a sport, like playing a game. Because you don't even realize you work out. Like when I go play five-a-side with you, and you know, it's so much fun, you don't even realize you're working out. You know, or like volleyball or whatever it is.
The funny thing is, after a couple of months, we were having a chat. You know, since we're playing volleyball, I feel better. I lost some weight. I feel my legs much more toned than before. So now, you know what? I would like that. I feel that I need to do something in order to tone my upper body. To me, that was music to my ear. Okay, let me help you.
Yeah.
We can go together to the gym. We can do something. No. You know, you don't have to talk about anything, any gym, any exercise. So then he left me speechless. I say, you think there's a magic pill? You want your upper body to be more toned than before. You have to do something, of course. Even, I was kind of joking, but not really. Just to try to do a couple of push-ups per day. Start with that.
Yeah, definitely.
5 seconds.
So what was the strategy? He had no. He just wanted to be more toned, but he had no strategy.
Yeah, out of nowhere.
Just thought it would just magically happen. Yeah. That's crazy. What?
In that situation, if that's the case, it's like, right, volleyball, sort of the legs, good stuff. Pick up boxing now.
Yeah,
now you need an upper body sport. If that is the case, like if you don't want to do, go to the gym.
But you'd be surprised. Newbie gains are incredible. You know, if you haven't done a gym program before, you've got a huge magic window of opportunity there in the first maybe 6-8 weeks.
But then push-up challenges, squat challenges and stuff, it works. Like people don't realize how little to do. Like to me, I always kind of look at the upper limits and I kind of go, right, okay, take the far end of the spectrum. Take the Marcos and the Andrew Maddies of fat loss and equivalent to exercise. So these guys lose 120 pounds or 120 pounds a piece. And it's basically like looking to the exercise side of that. So you got these super marathon runners. It's like, right, so that's what's possible. And then what you have is you have the way bottom end of the spectrum, which is the 1 pounders a week. You know, that's what you want to lose, or you know, I've lost 5 pounds and you plateau after that. And it's like, and you take them people and you put them at one end of a room and you say run to the other end of the room. And by the time they get to the room, it's like they're dead. It's like, so you're at the start and a super marathon's at the end. It's like, how do you think your body's operating in terms of that? It's like, if you were to just move a little bit more, your body would adapt closer along the spectrum to this super marathon runner. And obviously, it's literally nearly endless. You know, so doesn't seem to be a limit to the things that human beings can do. If you look at the Olympics from 50 years ago.
I think it's amazing when you hear these people. That's why I can always kind of reframe when I'm doing a workout. I'm like, you know, I'm doing like a 30-minute workout. Obviously, I'm pushing myself out. I'm working really hard. I'm like, somebody has ran 7 marathons in 7 days on 7 different continents. You know what I'm saying? It's like
they get off the plane into a taxi, or finish the marathon into a taxi, onto the plane, off the plane into a taxi, and onto the starting line, and do that for 7 days.
Yeah. So for me, that highlights 2 things. It's like, first of all, it's like, you know, there seems to be very, very few limits, you know, in terms of kind of like, you know, there's a good Marine rule that they're often quoted. It's like the Marines say, when you feel like you've got nothing left, you're only at 30%. You still have 70% more to give. But then that also highlights the fact that it's like, it really is all a mental battle. You know what I mean? So I remember even showing at the start of the year, we ran the June half marathon. You know, by the time I got to the finish line, it's my first time doing something like that, kind of long distance running. What is it? A half marathon is what, 21 kilometers? Something like that. And then when I got there, I was like, Jesus Christ. Imagine I was only halfway and I had to do that again to complete a full marathon. And after that, I was like, never ever going to do a marathon. You know? So it was quite difficult. But then obviously you look back and think, actually, maybe I will do a marathon.
But see, the thing with that is just kind of like, you don't want to do something your body's not prepared for, because you can, through sheer will, it's like the equivalent. It's like if you take, you know, 5 painkillers, maybe half a tray, you're not going to feel your legs. But when you start feeling your legs again, you've blown out 2 glutes, a quad and a hamstring. You know, so it's like, that's not necessary.
That's not a huge. That's how much more of a bigger fan in terms of interval training because it's just less wear and tear on the body compared to kind of this long distance running. Long distance running is, it's much more catabolic, which means it breaks your body down, whereas intervals and sprints and all this high intensity work is much more anabolic. And again, for me, because I'm busy too, like most of our clients, it's it's much more efficient. I don't want to spend hours and hours every day in the gym. I want to go into the gym 30, maybe 45 minutes, depending on what I'm doing, maybe doing a boxing workout or something like that, and have an efficient workout and get kind of the most return for every time spent in the gym, whereas most people spend, messing around in the gym for an hour and 20, an hour and a half, and like you could have been done, in half that time, and then, spent that time with your family, working on your business, meeting friends, doing whatever you say you don't have the time to do, prepping your food, which is the big one. People spend, an hour or 2 hours in the gym, no problem, but ask them to do a little bit of meal prep and they tell you no time. What it's like, start being a little bit more efficient with your time is important.
I think a big thing for people as well. I think it's one of the reasons why people like Marco and Andrew Matty are so inspirational is because it's like, for me anyway, I know from when I was a place and I was feeling a little bit useless, it's like you don't realize that you're capable of change. You see yourself as this fixed entity. You see yourself as like, oh, well, these are my biceps and these are my legs and this is my stomach and this is my routine and this is what I'm capable of. And unless you like pick up an instrument and go from the start of being I'm absolutely terrible to being quite proficient at it, it's like you actually don't realize that you have what you call talent or something like that. And that's one of the reasons why I find like people, when they hear stuff like this, they listen because they know to go, oh, we are actually capable of change. Like if Marco could do this, it's like, why can't I do it? And that's one of the things one of the reasons why you're so influential, and one of the reasons why people look up to you. It's like, oh, I want to be able to do that too. So that's what you allow people to do by simply being you and changing.
No, that's what I always tell the guys in here, trying to push them, to motivate them. Listen, if I did it, you can do way more better than me.
Yeah.
So.
Especially when you look like this, and I find that's cool. That's one of the kind of most powerful forces in terms of kind of social pressure. It's like it's most people kind of achieve things because they look at their friends and like it's not kind of. It's not because you dislike them or anything. It's just like, if he can do it, I can do it. It's just, I know because I grew up with him or I know him personally. I know that, he's nothing special, essentially. You get what I'm saying? It's like, if he can do it, I can do it. And then maybe if you look at your starting picture, your before pictures, which are incredible. You look at that and you're like, oh my God, if he can do it, and then look at him now, it's like, why shouldn't I stop? And I think, I just want to thank you as well, Mark, because like you inspired me to really pursue like this as a career, because I realized I was only a kid, I was only 22, 23 years of age when we started working together. Yeah. And then, and you had this life-changing transformation, and then it's like, that's what really made me want to kind of start working with more and more people, because I was like, if I can help you in that way, how many more people can I help? And then you got Brandon doing the same thing, we got Niall and we got Chris, and we've created a brilliant community. Really, a family, yeah, it really is, So, and again, genuinely, thank you, for.
No, but thank you guys, because you helped me changing my life. You showed me the way, the path.
Yeah, but the same thing, it's kind of works both ways, because you had that belief in me when you come in, and I was only kind of a little baldy faced kid. You get what I'm saying? And then you said, let's give him a try. And again, obviously, I hope I earned your respect, and I showed you through, because I was trying my absolute hardest, to make sure that I could always answer the questions that you had, and I could always motivate you and get good workouts and all this kind of stuff. But at the end of the day, you put your money where your mouth is. You invested in me, So thank you for that.
And then the other side of it is did the work. So it's like nothing for me as a coach. Like I said, it's like we got asked the question, like, who's your favorite client? It's like, my favorite client is one who follows the program. So because nothing's more inspirational than nothing means more to a coach than when you tell someone something and they take it on board and then they use it and they can see it's effective. Yeah. So literally nothing means more.
Definitely.
Thanks, Marco.
Boom. Turn it up. Alright guys, so before we finish up, 2 plugs as usual. First plug, Underdog Project is happening on the 27th of October in the Cornbeck Hotel. Tickets are €20. If you want to get a ticket, feel free to ask Mark or any other fighters, ask myself, any of the other Fight coaches, or even ask one of our members and they will hook you up with a ticket. €20 each, and all proceeds will go to Clannyfoot Boxing Club. Again, Clannyfoot Boxing Club is where I started doing my personal training. And them guys kind of growing up as a kid and a teenager, the coaches in there had a huge impact on my life, and this is just a small way that we try and give back to them with this kind of what's but it's turned into like an annual fundraiser. So I hope so long may it continue. And then secondly is obviously, if you want to come down to Find Fit, you want to try us out, we've got a 7-day free trial on www.findfitnation.com. So if you want to come in and try that for a week, you enjoy it, sign up. If you don't, no hassle at all.
Do it, lads. It will be worth it.
Yeah. Can the guys get you on social media? Are you on Instagram or Twitter? Or?
Yes, I have an Instagram profile. It's Reclaim1982. And on Facebook, just my full name.
Marco Vaglica.
Vaglica.
Get him on Instagram, follow the journey. Don't forget to follow fightingfit_B.
Brandon mad for the followers. Yeah, but just on that, Marco, again, because you are hugely, again, just not to kind of overemphasize it, but like you are a very motivational person. Like your Facebook and your Instagram is just full of motivational quotes, full of you know motivational videos. You're always trying to inspire people, you know. So keep up the good work. And just let people know what is your slogan. So the 3 R's.
Redesign, rebuild, reclaim.
Reclaim. That's what it's all about.
Yeah, it's like it's always indomitable will, something like that. Yeah,
indomitable will.
Right down.
Love it. All right, guys, cool. Thanks for listening. We'll see you in the next episode. Marco, thanks for being here.
Peace. Thanks, guys. See you.
Podcast.